Humor is one of the MCU's defining traits. Whether it's Tony Stark snacking mid-crisis or Deadpool casually breaking the fourth wall in the middle of chaos, Marvel has always leaned into laughs. But here's the thing, sometimes it hits perfectly, and other times it completely misses the mark, leaving us cringing instead of chuckling. Whenever the MCU tries to be funny, it either creates iconic legends or absolute disasters. There's rarely any in between. So why do characters like Deadpool or Tony Stark feel effortlessly hilarious, while others, like Korg or She-Hulk, come across as painfully forced? That's exactly what we're breaking down today. We'll explore how some MCU characters nail comedy with precision, while others crash and burn trying to be the next Deadpool or Iron Man. Let's dive in. Let's start with Marvel's undisputed king of comedy, Deadpool. Even before officially joining the MCU, Wade Wilson built his own chaotic cinematic universe through the X-Men movies and his solo films. He turned R-rated madness into mainstream magic, breaking the fourth wall and redefining superhero humor forever. What makes Deadpool's comedy work isn't just the jokes, it's how deeply it's woven into his character. His humor is his personality. It's how he deals with trauma, pain, and insanity. Every sarcastic jab or self-roast feels earned because it comes from who he is, not what the script tells him to say. He's not just cracking jokes, he's surviving through them. Deadpool doesn't mock his story, his comedy is the story. When he turns to the camera and rips into superhero cliches, we're laughing because he's saying what every fan is secretly thinking. The writing gives him permission to roast everything: the studio, the budget, Hugh Jackman, even Marvel itself. And of course, the magic ingredient, Ryan Reynolds. Even fans who prefer DC admit it. No one else could have played Deadpool better. Reynolds is Deadpool. His comedic rhythm walks the perfect line between sincerity and absurdity. He doesn't just deliver lines, he lives them, making Wade Wilson feel like a real person who just happens to narrate his life like a deranged stand-up comic stuck in an action movie. Fans agree. I think it's the most accurate screen portrayal of a comic book character. It's dead on to the comics. They didn't have to make any changes or alterations. Deadpool is the best thing that ever happened to Ryan Reynolds, and Ryan Reynolds is the best thing to happen to Deadpool. It also helps that Deadpool's tone perfectly matches his world. Everything revolves around his chaos. Everything else just reacts to him, annoyed, confused, or terrified. That tonal balance is something many other MCU comedies struggle to capture. Next up, the man who started it all, the genius billionaire playboy philanthropist himself, Tony Stark. Before the MCU, superhero movies were either dark and brooding or over the top and campy. But Tony Stark changed the game. Robert Downey Jr. gave us a hero with wit, ego, and heart. He could crack a joke mid-battle and still make us cry 5 minutes later. Tony's humor doesn't come from punchlines. It comes from personality. His snark and sarcasm aren't written to fill silence or get laughs. They're defensive mechanisms. Every quip hides a man terrified of failure and vulnerability. Well, Tony in the comics was rather dry, so RDJ added glibness, arrogance, and passion to him that made Tony far more well-rounded and appealing. I was a huge Iron Man fan growing up, and at first, I didn't quite recognize Downey's portrayal, but I came to see the wisdom of it before too long. That's what made him special. His humor felt earned. The audience trusted him. Tony could make a snide joke in the middle of an alien invasion, and we'd still believe in him as a leader. Few characters can balance that kind of charisma and sincerity. Tony Stark's comedy worked not because he tried to be funny, but because he was Tony Stark. Now let's talk about the galaxy's most lovable idiot, Peter Quill, aka Star-Lord. Chris Pratt brought something refreshingly human to the MCU. Star-Lord isn't funny because he's clever. He's funny because he thinks he's clever. He's that guy who tries way too hard to look cool and ends up embarrassing himself every time. And somehow, we adore him for it. From the very first scene in Guardians of the Galaxy, where he dances to "Come and Get Your Love" while stealing an artifact, we know exactly who he is. His humor is his armor, masking loneliness and loss. He's a man-child with a mixtape and abandonment issues. I love James Gunn's take on the character more than the comic version. He's not the best fighter, not the best shot, not the smartest guy. He's not the best at anything, and not as capable as he is in the comics. James Gunn used humor to balance heavy emotions, family, grief, trauma, without undercutting them. Quill's jokes gave audiences breathing room, making serious moments hit harder when the laughter faded. Unlike many MCU heroes, Star-Lord's humor doesn't feel like studio-written sarcasm. It feels human, awkward, flawed, self-deprecating, but genuine. Together, Deadpool, Iron Man, and Star-Lord show that great comedy comes from character depth. Their humor isn't decoration, it's emotional survival. Now, let's switch gears to the other side, the most hated funny MCU characters, starting with She-Hulk. On paper, She-Hulk Attorney at Law had gold potential, a legal sitcom about a fourth wall breaking superhero. It sounded perfect, but what we got was one of the most divisive and often mocked projects in MCU history. This writing is so atrocious, it must have been farted out. It's worse than cringe. It's puke cringe. The issue isn't that She-Hulk tries to be funny, it's that her humor feels completely disconnected from her world. Jennifer Walters' tone clashes hard with the broader MCU vibe. One minute it's a sitcom, the next it's superhero chaos. It's tonal whiplash. The show could have used its fourth wall breaks the way Deadpool does, to enhance humor and character. Instead, they felt like shortcuts to distract from weak writing. She-Hulk had the perfect setup for clever meta-comedy, but instead of breaking the fourth wall with wit, it shattered immersion with awkwardness. Next up, Captain Marvel. Carol Danvers should be one of Marvel's most compelling heroes, but when it comes to humor, her writing misses the mark. Carol's problem isn't that she's serious, it's that the movies pretend she's funny without ever proving it. Her jokes feel inserted, not inspired. The MCU tried to give her Iron Man's charm and confidence, but forgot the heart behind it. Tony's humor hides fear and pain. Carol's humor feels detached, like it's there because someone said, "We need her to quip like Tony." The tone doesn't help either. Captain Marvel can't decide whether it's a lighthearted comedy or a serious cosmic epic. It floats awkwardly between both, and that inconsistency undercuts her personality. Captain Marvel isn't unfunny, she's just miswritten. The audience never gets to know her well enough to laugh with her. Finally, we have Korg, and oh boy, what a fall from grace. When he debuted in Thor Ragnarok, Korg was a revelation. Taika Waititi's deadpan delivery turned a rock monster into one of Marvel's funniest supporting characters. He was gentle, weirdly wholesome, and downright hilarious. But then came Thor: Love and Thunder. Marvel took what worked and turned the dial up to 11 until it broke. Korg went from delightful comic relief to an overused punchline machine. Every serious moment was interrupted by his nonsense, killing the emotional beats that Ragnarok balanced so well. No, he's nothing like that in the comics. The director decided to make him his goofy avatar in the movie. I like him in Ragnarok, but yeah, Thor 4 sucks in almost every respect, including with Korg. Korg's downfall represents one of Marvel's biggest comedic sins, confusing quantity for quality. More jokes don't make a character funnier, purpose does. Thor Ragnarok struck the perfect balance between humor and heart. Love and Thunder lost both, proving that even great comedy can wear out its welcome. Characters like Deadpool, Tony Stark, and Star-Lord make us laugh because their humor means something. It's tied to who they are, their pain, their flaws, their humanity. Meanwhile, characters like She-Hulk, Captain Marvel, and Korg fail because their humor feels disconnected from their character and story. It's not earned, it's imposed. Marvel has always walked a fine line between comedy and emotion. When it works, it's gold. When it doesn't, it's painful. So, which side do you fall on? Who nails comedy best? Deadpool? Tony Stark? Star-Lord? Or do you secretly love Korg's dumb rock jokes? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and while you're there, hit that like button, subscribe to Silver Screen Hero, and for more deep dive breakdowns, check out the next video here.